Good afternoon everyone, my name is Mac Reith-Snare and today we will be going through a presentation on today's teenagers and their use of technology. So throughout today's presentation we will dive into our consumer segment, an analysis of media consumption, audience trends and opportunities, and wrapping it up with a segment-specific case study. So techno teens, who are they? They are 13 to 17 years of age. They are unknowingly addicted to technology, and unfortunately they are young and impressionable kids that don't know any better. According to the Pew Research Centre, these teenagers are smashing social media, connecting with friends, family members, and even strangers on platforms that they don't fully understand the risks of using. As you can see, YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat are the most popular online platforms among teenagers. For the most part, teens tend to use similar platforms regardless of their demographic characteristics, but there are exceptions. Notably, lower income teens are more likely to gravitate towards Facebook than those from high income households. 7 in 10 teens living in households earning less than $30,000 a year say they use Facebook, compared with 36% whose annual family income is $75,000 or more. So jumping off the back of that, this is a breakdown of when and how teenagers are consuming their media. 90% use Facebook, while 61% are using Instagram. 33% of the media they consume is traditional, for example, newspapers, TV news, and radio. Some teenagers are averaging a ridiculous 18 hours a day on their devices, whether that be smartphones, tablets, or computers. 90% of millennials using YouTube to watch their videos. The average times of the day that teenagers are consuming content is between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. 5.4 of those hours are considered user-generated content. This is any form of content such as images, videos, text, and audio that has been posted by users on online platforms. So for 5.4 hours of the day, teenagers aren't just consuming online content, they are contributing to it as well. And to sum it all up, teenagers are addicted to their mobile phones. Smartphone ownership has become a nearly universal element of teen life, with 95% of teens now reporting that they have a smartphone or access to one. These mobile connections are in tune, fueling more persistent online activities. 45% of teens now say they are online on a near constant basis. Despite the global presence of social media in their lives, there is no clear consensus among teens about these platforms' ultimate impact on people their age. A number of teens, 45%, believe social media has a neither positive nor negative effect on people their age. Meanwhile, roughly 3 in 10 teens, 31%, say social media has had a mostly positive impact, while 24% describe its effect as mostly negative. Given the opportunity to explain their views in their own words, teens who say social media has had a positive impact tended to stress issues related to connectivity and connection with others. Some 40% of these respondents said that social media has had a positive impact because it helps them keep in touch and interact with others. Many of these responses emphasise how social media has made it easier to communicate with family and friends and to connect with new people. This brings us to our case study, the Internet Matters campaign. This ad, which was launched to coincide with the start of a new school year, is part of a focus from Internet Matters on the importance of striking a balance in children's internet use, agreeing on boundaries, and ensuring time on the internet is well spent. Let's take a look at the ad.
Sunshine If you left kids to their own devices, they might never leave their devices. Help them find the right screen time balance, when to turn on and when to turn off. And then, what comes next?
Wait, the phone!
For screen time advice, search Internet Matters.
The next part of the campaign dives into fake news. As mentioned a little earlier in the presentation, social media, particularly Facebook, can make it really difficult to identify factual and completely accurate news while there is so much fake news floating around the internet. This can be dangerous for teenagers using the internet and social media, as they can be persuaded to believe whatever they read, watch, or listen to online. The next part of the Internet Matters campaign addresses this issue and how parents can help educate their kids on fake news.
Social media is the way we get our news. Fake news can be found embedded in traditional news, social media, or fake news sites, and has no basis in fact, but is presented as being factually accurate. This has allowed hackers, trolls, even politicians to use the net to spread disinformation online. Our children can struggle to separate fact from fiction thanks to the spread of fake news. Here are some basic strategies to help them develop critical digital literacy. Talk to them. Children rely more on their family than social media for their news, so talk to them about what is going on. Read. Many people share stories they don't actually read. Encourage your kids to read beyond the headline. Check. Teach children quick and easy ways to check the reliability of information, like considering the source, doing a search to double-check the author's credibility, seeing if the information is available on reputable sites, and using credible fact-checking websites to get more information. Get involved. Digital literacy is about participation. Teach your kids to be honest, vigilant, and creative digital citizens. Fake news spreads misinformation and anxiety among school children, but they are more literate and resilient than you might think. If we give them the tools to tell fact from fiction, their digital literacy will make the internet a great place for us all to find out what is going on in the world.
The final part of the campaign looks at Facebook. This tutorial will explain a little bit of how Facebook works and how its privacy settings can be monitored. With teenagers spending so much time in front of their screens, parents might begin to wonder what the kids are consuming or who they're constantly talking to. This part of the campaign details how parents can keep their kids safe while using Facebook and how they can monitor their usage of the app as well.
Hi, I'm Adele, a mum of two, a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old. As a parent, watching my daughter on social media, I was nervous, worried and a bit scared of what she might find. Out of just over 3 billion people who use the internet all over the world, over half, 1.6 billion, have a Facebook account. If you and your child make up this number, this video will give you some really easy steps to make sure your child's privacy settings are the highest they can be, so that only their friends on Facebook can see their photos and posts. If you go onto the Settings tab and scroll all the way down to Privacy Shortcuts, there's a really useful tool called Privacy Checkup. This takes you through 3 steps to make sure you're sharing with the correct people. If you select Continue, you can choose who you share your Facebook posts with. This could be a status update, a photo, video, or link to a story. Make sure you've selected Friends in this section, as this will prevent strangers viewing your profile and seeing what you've posted. The next section is all about your profile, including who you share your phone number, email address, birthday, and so on with. I would personally recommend that you provide as little information as possible on here, but if you do want to include your hometown and other details, make sure only your friends on Facebook can see them. On to the final section are the apps that you've linked your Facebook account with. Be careful, because these apps will use data from your Facebook. If you don't recognise any of these apps, or you haven't given them permission to access your personal information, delete them immediately. Back onto the main menu, we have Who Can See My Stuff. If you've selected Friends for your privacy checkup beforehand, Friends will be selected here. Your activity log shows all your actions you've been doing on Facebook, such as liking photos and videos, but only you can see your own activity log. Anyone can send you a Facebook friend request, but if you want to make sure that only friends of friends can, make sure you select the corresponding option. This will make sure you don't get any requests from strangers who your son and daughter have never met. If someone has been harassing or bothering you on Facebook, you can block them on this option here by typing in their name. But remember, make sure to tell your child if they're being bullied or bothered. They should tell you immediately. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and go to internetmatters.org for more help and advice on keeping our children safe online.
So now that we've had a look at the campaign, let's see if it was successful. Why did Internet Matters work? The campaign makes a connection with the audience, specifically parents. Based on the statistics shown throughout the presentation, parents want help getting their kids to spend less time in front of screens, and Internet Matters has helped them do this. They also identified the concerns of parents and the organisation towards the amount of screen time teenagers engage in. Internet Matters provided solutions to these problems, publishing TV advertisements and online tutorials on how to monitor teenagers' time in front of their screens and how to help them navigate the internet and social media. Internet Matters conceded that the internet and social media can be beneficial and elaborates on how to use them as positive tools. These include learning how to identify fake news, bullying, and connecting with family and friends. Overall, Internet Matters have produced a very successful campaign. Ladies and gents, that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for joining us. If you wish to cite the presentation's references, they are at the bottom of the PowerPoint, and thanks again.